Our number one goal is to get to know the district office representatives of your members of Congress and your U.S. senators. Just so I can see a show of hands from back home, how many have actually had a visit with your district office staff? Great. And what we want to do is, one, get to know that, and number two is, during this recess period, while it might be a downtime for politics in Washington, it's an uptime for arts events going on in communities across the country. Lots of festivals going on, big public forums going on involving the arts. And what do members of Congress who are running for election want more than anything? To get out in front of voters. They're desperate to get into forums where they're in front of voters to be able to show that they're part of the community, get their face and their name out there. It does not involve electioneering. It does not involve anything that could cross the line of a 501c3, and we'll get into that a little bit later as well. It's just creating an opportunity for these elected leaders to come to your public forums and make a few remarks about their support for the arts, and an opportunity for you to specifically say what our legislative agenda is. And that same legislative agenda is the one that was adopted on National Arts Advocacy Day. Nerek's going to go into the details of it, but it was adopted on National Arts Advocacy Day, and it was adopted by hundreds of national arts service organizations and state and local service organizations, all on a united message to increase funding for the NEA, the the Department of Education's Arts Education Funds, and a few other things. A third piece of a goal that we're looking to do is to reinforce with your district offices of these members of Congress that you are a resource to them. You are a resource to have when they need to get in touch and know, okay, if certain policy issues come up, who in my back home can I turn to? And say, okay, tell me what's going on back home. Give me an opportunity to throw a few ideas out there. How would this work with our arts community? Is this a beneficial thing or is it not? And you're really building up opportunities for you to become a close ally of that member of Congress. And while you're helping a larger global effort to increase federal funding for the arts for all arts organizations, someday that might benefit you in other ways. For instance, earmarks for arts organizations, for your own organization at some point. Developing that close relationship is very, very important, and it helps you to position yourself further as a leader among arts organizations in your community of being able to bring this kind of mobilization together. So why would members, and here we're referring to members of Congress, why would they be interested? Now, I mentioned to you the very top one, that is they're trying to get in front of voters right now. It's very key. It's an election year. It's a really critical election year. And some of them are running for their political lives in order to be able to stay in Congress. And what you're doing is creating a situation where it's very easy for them to participate. Nerek's probably going to go through some of the examples of the different kinds of events you can set up, or ones that you can work with your members of Congress to set up. But for the most part, we're talking about not you creating something new for the most part. It's tapping into what's going on in your community. It might not even be your organization that's sponsoring an event that's being held, but it's the local dance company or the film festival that's going on. And you call their executive director and you say, look, I see on August 7th you're doing something at the theater. Can we spend a couple minutes and have Congressman XYZ come? Something as simple as that. And then that member of Congress will continue to see that this is a great resource that he or she has with local arts groups within their community. Overall, those three issues that we mentioned that are going to be the policy things that we roll out into this congressional recess period, what you should know is that when we have National Arts Advocacy Day, there are probably about 10 legislative issues that we ask our advocates to lobby. What we've done for this 50-50 campaign is to refine it into three that are the most significant. And one is specifically a couple of unique programs within the National Endowment for the Arts, but overall for their overall budget. The second is arts education, and the third is trying to get passage of the Artist Museum Partnership Act. I'm going to ask Neric Rome, who is our Director of Federal Affairs at Americans for the Arts and the Arts Action Fund, to now kind of go into the specific details of these 3 policy items.